Metalheads, welcome back to Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today, I've got a fantastic interview for you. This is with Peavy from the band Rage. Now, Rage are about to release a double album, which is absolutely fantastic. It's called Afterlifelines, and it's released on Steamhammer. I want to thank Peavy for doing this interview. I also want to thank Andy Turner for setting up this interview. So, folks, please share social media, thumbs up, and thanks for watching. Enjoy the interview, Metalheads.
Good one. So, Peavy, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview and welcome to the Friday 13th YouTube channel.
Cool.
Now, we've done interviews before, like I said. I mean, Friday 13th has been around now since 1988.
Cool.
It used to be a fanzine back in the day. So, I've been around for many, many years like you. So, I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions first, Peavy. I don't think I've ever asked this before to you. As a singer, who's your influences? Who's inspired you as a singer and as a bass player?
Oh, nowadays, not really. I have my own style, I found my own style since long. When I was a kid, when I was young, it was definitely as a singer, my very first influence as a singer was probably John Lennon, I would say. And then when metal came up, I loved very much Rob Halford, Judas Priest, this kind of stuff. I was trying to sing also as high as possible, like I did on the first albums or so. Later, I got more into singers like James Hetfield or so, this kind of more rough and with lots of balls, And as a bass player, my very first influence as a bass player must have been Lemmy, I think. I bought a Rickenbacker bass guitar as I was still the guitar player in my band. It was long before Avenger or Rage. And I was actually playing guitar in this band, and I loved this instrument so much, this Rickenbacker thing. It looked so cool on Lemmy. So when I got the chance to get one, I bought a model from 1969 or so. It was a used model, and then I had this Rickenbacker bass without being a bass player, and it then made me to switch over, So I must have been Lemmy that caused me to become a bass player.
So was it difficult for you to switch over playing bass and vocals at the same time?
No. Playing bass and singing is easier than playing guitar and singing, at least my impression.
So is there anybody in your family playing instruments when you was growing up?
Everybody, actually. My family comes from the classical music, and everybody is playing violins, cello, piano, all this,
Okay,
but no one was into rock music. I was the only one.
So that's where your musical classical influences come from in the Rage music later on, when you introduced the orchestras. It's probably from your family. Was that part of the reason?
Yeah, this comes from my very youth. Yeah, surely. I started as on the classical guitar. Was my very first instrument when I was 9 or so. I got lessons in classical guitar. It wasn't even that bad back then.
Do you actually still own your Rickenbacker? Do you still own it?
Yes, I still have it. I have 2 Rickenbacker models, very old ones. This one from '69 still, and another one from '71.
Do you actually play them in the studio? Do they actually sound good?
No, the one from '69 has this original pickups. It sounds like the '60s, this kind of pick. The other one has an humbucker, which is already a bit more distorted, and actually here and there I sometimes play them still. I remember a couple of years ago we did I was in a very huge project involved that was a tribute to John Lord from Deep Purple, and we played lots of old Deep Purple stuff. And for this, I used the Rickenbacker because the sound was pretty good for exactly as Roger Glover was playing the same model back then, around 1970. So it fitted pretty good.
So what was your first impression of meeting Lemmy and telling him you had a Rickenbacker? You must have been ecstatic when you met him and thought, "Oh my God,"
Yeah, sure. It was like meeting my God,
It's a bit like me meeting Rob Halford. He's my God. I actually saw Judas Priest last week in England. They were actually fantastic with Saxon and Uriah Heep.
Yeah, I heard the touring. Also in Germany, there's this package for the tour.
Yeah.
Sounds really good. We just toured with Saxon recently, a couple of shows in last year. And maybe we, if I find the time or so, if we're not around ourselves, I might also show up there.
Yeah, you wanna definitely. So when you look back at all the albums you've done, Rage, especially the noise albums, which is your favourite noise era?
Oh, from the noise era, it must
You've just
be.
got out of focus, by the way. You've just got out of focus.
I'm getting out of focus.
Yeah. For some reason. Oh, there you go. You're better. Yeah.
There must be a bad connection, basically, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you said about the noise era. Sorry.
Yeah, from the noise era, there's plenty of very interesting or good albums from. You're talking about Rage, you know.
Yeah.
And, first of all, it's definitely Perfect Man, and then I would recommend Trapped or Missing Link. Those are important for the band's career. And one that I like, that I still like very much, which was maybe not that popular, is Reflections of a Shadow.
Why's that then? What do you think?
We went a bit too experimental on this one, and the song listing on the album was maybe wrong. We started with a kind of sabotage-like track, you know, and everybody was expecting some fast power metal from us, and we were doing something completely else, you know. But still, it's a good album. It's not exactly what the fans expected at this time, but it's a good music on there.
So, how would you describe your music? Is it power metal, speed metal? Because you kind of go in them sort of categories, don't you? Fall into both of them.
That's I don't think that we fit too good in all this in any of those categories. It's everything involved, of course, everything included in this music, you know, in the band's music. But the range is a bit wider than just being power metal or so, you know. It has, of course, lots of these elements. There's also a bit thrash metal in. Sometimes we even play a bit punkish. There's a lot of epic stuff in progressive, also a little bit. So it's a mix of lots of different styles that make, in the end, our own style. I'm still blurry at this.
Yeah. You're right. You're back there now. No, you've gone out of focus again. That's it. You're back. Okay, then. So, I mean, you introduced two guitar players in 1994, roughly. Why did you want to have two guitarists? Was it just too difficult just for the one guitarist at the time?
This time, Manny Schmidt has left the band, and he was a typical one guitar player. You know, he played all this mix of rhythm and leads. You know, like Eddie Van Halen or so, this kind of style. You know. And when I got when he had left the band, I had to replace him with two guitar players because the style of the one that I had first was the brother of the drummer Spiros. You know, he had a complete different style. He played more this kind of rhythm based stuff, you know, and so we just needed a second guy that was able to do more this chord progression stuff that I always did, you know. I just thought it would be better to have them as a team, you know, have the two guitar players with different specialities.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed you've gone from two guitar players to one guitarist, two guitar. Why did you not keep two guitarists? There's a reason.
Yeah, the guy that followed them after those two, after this guitar duo, was Smolsky, this guy from Russia.
Yeah, he was a great guitarist.
Yeah, and he's a one guitar player. He's not able to play in a team with someone else, so he's his own star in his own world, you know.
So, like I say, you've gone from two guitarists to one guitarist. Like I say, what is do you like to mix it between one and two on different albums? Does it appeal to you more?
For me, basically, it's not that much of a difference, you know. I see them. I think mostly it's up to the guitar player or to the players, what they need or what they like or prefer, you know. For the music, it's all possible, you know. You can play a song that was recorded as a 3-piece also with 4 people, and the other way around also, you know. It's just a way to arrange the stuff. Then, you know, if you want to boil it down on one guitar, you just have to mix the stuff that the two players recorded, you know. So it's basically the problem of the guitar player, not really mine or so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you've gone from various labels. You've gone from Noise to Gun to Nuclear Blast, Steamhammer. Yeah. I mean, do you feel it's necessary to change from different record companies to keep it fresh and appealing?
Maybe it's not 100% necessary, but sometimes life just plays like this, you know. Mostly the label changes were when there was problems coming up with the labels or so, or when we felt like we're not being nicely or best represented from the label, the change, for example, first change from Steamhammer to Nuclear in the 2000s was basically because Steamhammer at this point, they were getting sold, they were getting, it looked like they're going bankrupt and the label would just disappear, So when at this point we got a real good offer from Nuclear Blast and were very strong at this point, So we changed. Later, it turned out that Steamhammer still existed, kept on existing, and were still good, which was which I felt a little bit sorry for, because I like to work really very much with Olli Hahn from SPV, from Steamhammer. He's a fantastic music seller. I don't know how to say it. He's really a big fan of the band, and he's doing a fantastic job always. Yeah, then we were at Nuclear Blast with Andy Ziri. There was our guy, our A&R guy, and the one that made himself strong for Rage. And then when he left the label and everything was sold to this Dutch digital label. What was the name? Believe. Yeah, Believe. Everything was sold, so we felt like it's time for us to go there, because we would be just one minor act in between all these big names they have. They wouldn't really do that much good for us, which was, I think, now in the retrospective, a good decision. And we're back on it. We're back with Olli Hahn, and this is turns out to be really good. The last 3 albums went very good for us. Especially because of Ollie's fantastic work. I have to say
that you've done some fantastic album covers in the past. I mean, you've got the alien from the Alien movies, kind of your mascot, any kind of, what do you call him? Do you have a name for him?
Yeah, it's the Sound Chaser is his name, and it was invented by this Austrian artist Joachim Lüdger. He invented this already in the 80s. The Perfect Man cover was the first appearance of this one. It was called the Sound Chaser. Actually, before it was a sculpture, a 3-headed sculpture with 3 of those heads, and this is still somewhere in some exhibition in New York or so, I think.
Okay, so when you look back at all your albums, if you had to pick 2 previous albums that are your favourites, which ones are your favourites of everything you've done?
I have to say everything, because they are all childs of their time. They were the best we could do at this time. It's a time when they came out. And I wouldn't be here without all of them. And it's way too many. It's how many? 26, 28? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of albums.
To just pick out one or so.
I mean, you did that other project, Lingius Mortis Orchestra. I mean, a lot of people were like, is it Rage or is it not Rage? Was it Rage? But we're just an orchestra.
It is Rage always. And Lingua Mortis Orchestra was always a part of Rage. Since the album Lingua Mortis in '96, it was. Since then, it was always a part of Rage. And the decision to try to make a kind of side project out of this was not basically my favorite idea. It goes more back to the guitar player back then. I think he wanted to develop kind of side thing to get me out of it, to take it over then, for his own sake.
Okay, I mean, like, well, let's talk about the new album. It's called Afterlifelines. What a title, because it's a double album, like 21 songs or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, why did you decide to call it such a long title?
Basically, it's 2 different titles: Afterlife and Lifelines.
Yeah,
that's what the single albums are called, like, and then if you combine them together, it came out this kind of fantasy word. We just liked the idea to bring those words together.
It's a very long title. I mean, you imagine trying to say that when you're drunk.
Yeah, that's not.
Exactly. I mean, it's like you say, it's 2 albums in one, 2 different titles combined. What other titles did you have besides those 2?
Oh, actually, I preferred those in the long before we actually made the concept for the whole album. We just when I came up with this was still autumn 21, right after the release of the last one before Resurrection Day. And yeah, we just all liked the idea, and we didn't discuss any other titles anymore.
Okay, I mean it's a very well produced album, and you've gone a lot heavier on this album.
Thank you.
Was there a reason why you wanted to go heavier? I mean, the production's excellent as well.
Oh, what was the reason? I don't know. We just started to collect ideas, and the stuff turned out to be like this.
Was you pissed off? Was you pissed off with the world? Is that why you've gone heavier on this album?
I wouldn't say it. I mean, we were kind of breaked out because we wanted to tour after the last one, and there was another lockdown from this Corona shit. We couldn't tour, and we didn't want to just stay home and do nothing, so we just kept on collecting ideas. I can't remember that we were like pretty angry, especially. But it just turned out.
I mean, the album was produced by yourselves at Lucky Bob Studios. I mean, you've worked in that studio before. I mean, obviously, was you happy with the way the album turned out? Because it's like I say, it's a very crisp, clear, powerful production.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good thing. If you have your own studio, you have all the time in the world to produce your stuff. You can, we even broke down some songs in the making when we felt like, oh, we're getting in the wrong direction. It's not so good like we have it here. We just erased everything and then started it from the scratch, like anew or so. This happened to a couple of songs. As we had all this time, so this is a great luxury. You're not wasting money, Otherwise, you would you rent a studio for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 months or so, and then you have to be ready after this time. In this case, now we could just work on and on and on till we felt like, okay, now we are ready.
So you wrote like 21 songs. Did you expect it to be a double album, or was you going to put it out as 2 single albums?
In the beginning, we just collected ideas, like I said, and after a couple of months, we just realized it's more than we need for one album. And then came up my very old dream of already 20 years ago. I wanted to have a double album once at least in my career. And so we asked SPV, would they like the idea, because I mean, the double albums, this is not really the trend of the time at the moment, when everybody's just releasing singles because of the streaming habits that most of the fans have nowadays, So, but they supported the idea. They liked the idea of doing a double album, especially as we have now this 40th anniversary. This was another selling point, I think that's what Ollie thought, Anyway, we got the support, so we did it then. And then we concepted this thing with the 2 different titles for both albums, with one album very heavy, the other one a bit more epic, with the orchestration and a bit more progressive. And yeah, this came in after we realized we could do it.
Right. Did you have 2 album artworks for this album? Because it was, like you say, it could have been 2 single albums. Did you have 2 different album covers?
No, we developed this one that you just have in your back.
Yeah.
We had actually we when we started, I just told Karim König, he's the guy that did the cover. I just told him a few ideas, about the scenery, and then he just started to do shitloads of pictures. And in the end, we picked out the best things and combined them to this cover that we have now.
Okay, so the album cover, the title, the pictures that I had for the album, are they in the booklet for the CD? The ones that you didn't use for the front, are they actually inside the booklet so people can look at them?
Yeah, inside there's this other version of a 3-headed sound chair. Actually, yeah, this would have been also an option for the front one.
Okay, so how long did it take to record this album? Like you say, it's your own studio, you had your own time to.
All in all, 2.5 years we worked in it. I think 2.5 years. Yeah.
Wow. Any guests on this album that we're not aware of?
No. The only thing that we forgot to mention on the cover is that Gene is having some solo spots as a singer. In the song "Dying to Live," he's having this middle part after the solo, where he's singing solo, and the last chorus we share like a duet.
Okay, so where did you find Gene? What band was he in before Rage?
He was in a band called Angel Inc. and we found him. I mean, he lives not very far away from where I live. I think we have played a couple of festivals together with both bands, and I think the wife of our drummer Lucky, she knew him also from I don't know where.
Okay, so
and he was hanging out with us, and we were having a couple of beers, and just learn to know each other.
Okay, so you've got a really good chemistry now in the band. Are you going to be staying as a 3-piece from now on, or is he going to be another guitarist with Gene in the future, do you think?
We had on the last one we had Stefan also in the boat, Stefan Weber.
Yeah.
And he's not really out so far. He's officially, we never kicked him out. He's taking a break now since more than half a year. Since last year's summer, he's taking a break because he has some very private problems that he cannot work at the moment. He cannot do anything. And we left the door open for him. As soon as he feels like he can work again, we hope he will come back or so. We didn't wanted to add someone else from outside or so. So if we become a 4-piece again with 2 guitars, then it's going to be him, or we just stay as a 3-piece.
Okay, so because you're going to be touring soon, aren't you? You're going to be doing the European tour for this album, so you're going out as a 3-piece.
Yeah, we were a 3-piece in December, sure, because he was not available, not possible for him. We hope that maybe during this year, or maybe I don't know exactly. It's up to him, like I said, But as soon as he's better or so, I hope that he comes back and that we can play again as a 4-piece.
So how many shows are you doing on this forthcoming tour? Is it just like a mini European tour, and then you're going to play some festivals?
We play worldwide, actually. It's so far we announced it's 50, 60 shows or so. I'm not really sure, 100%. There's more coming for next year already. We're booking all the time, so all in all, I don't know how much it's going to be before we stop and do an next album.
If you ever, when you speak to Lucky, you'll have to mention to him that I'm a drum tech. I work with Anvil.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
So if you guys ever need a drum tech, please give me a call, because I know Kevin's worked with you before, haven't he? From Crowns of Passion.
So at the moment, our drum tech is the nephew of Lucky.
Okay.
Georgie.
Right. Okay. So how many lyrical videos are you doing for this album?
So we have one out already for Cold Desire. The next one's going to be a filmed video for Dying to Live, coming 2 days before album release, I think. And then there's going to be 2 more lyric videos for Toxic Waves, I remember, and shoot me that. What was the last one? I think End of Illusions or so. It's going to be then when the album is already out.
So what's your favorite songs, PV, from this new album? Do you have any favorites?
Yeah, all of them. I mean, we picked some of these songs for singles because we just thought they might represent the album really good, which was already under a Black Crown. Cold Desire, I like very much. They show a good picture of the album, I think. One of my favorites is also the long track, Lifelines, in the end of the second one. This long grande finale, like I always say.
So what sort of album reviews have you been getting? Because the album's coming out in about a week's time. So what sort of reviews have you been? What's the press, what's the fans saying about the videos on YouTube?
Very good reactions, really very good reactions. Both from press and from the fans. We get a lot of, we got a cover story here, in 10-page cover story on the Rock Hard magazine in Germany, one of the most important. We have like album of the month in several magazines. Really good reactions.
So what sort of festivals are you playing? You never played Bloodstock, have you, in the UK? That's one.
We did Bloodstock a couple of times already.
Oh, did you really?
A while ago.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Because I met you backstage. It was when Victor was in the band, the Mike on drums.
Yeah,
that was that was one of the times.
Exactly. It's a while ago, I admit. Yeah, we have plenty of stuff this year, including Wacken, for example. I would have to look on our webpage. I'm not 100% in the picture where we are, but it's all in the web,
Have you ever played that festival, Headbangers Open Air? Because I think that's an awesome festival. It's very small. It's like somebody's back garden.
Twice already, yeah.
Yeah,
Really
it's a brilliant festival.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question for you is, before we end up, is: are you going to be doing a live DVD? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think you're going to be doing one after this album's released?
And DVD.
Yeah.
DVDs are not really that common anymore. You know, that not too many people buy DVDs anymore because everything is out on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, we have no plans of recording anything for a DVD or so, but there's going to be probably some of the shows going to be recorded, and I don't know how we use them then later, you know, in what kind of format. But about a DVD, no one's really talking about this anymore.
Okay, then. Right, Peavy, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. Do you have anything to say to the fans watching this on YouTube?
Yes, very, very, a lot of hundreds, millions of thanks to everybody who supports the band since such a long time. I know we wouldn't be here without the fans. And thanks to everybody. See you on the road. And thank you also for you, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Peavy. It's nice speaking to you again.
You can do it, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peavy.
Yes.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.